Well, let's welcome back in our champ, Brandon Marshall. Got himself a ring with Peyton Manning and Denver back in the day. Brandon, as always, good to see you. Well, yeah, I mean, it is kind of.
I'm feeling old now.
Oh, man.
It is about 8 years
I dropped it back in the day on you, didn't I? I apologize. I'm so sorry for that. Let's talk about something that a lot of fans talk about, tanking.
Okay.
All right, it's week 7 now. There's a lot of really pretty hopeless teams out there.
Yeah.
Like, as a former player, did tanking ever come up when you guys, let's say you were having a bad season with one of your teams?
Never. You know, in the locker room, the players never talk about tanking because at the end of the day, we don't care about the next draft picks, right? We're just trying to solidify ourselves to either get our next contract or stay on the same contract that we have. So tanking is not a thing in the locker room.
What about, and I'm just throwing this out here, you know, maybe a coach says, hey, fellas, I'm going to start this guy over this guy this week. And they're not saying, hey, we're tanking, but you guys in the locker room realize you're not putting your best guys out there. Have you been in that kind of situation?
Oh, absolutely. That's where it can actually start to rear its head. You know, if a coach puts a player on IR or if they decide to trade certain people, if they release people, now we're wondering, right, our attendants are up, like, what's going on?
Right.
Are we really trying to win? Clearly not, because this person would be on the field. So as far as tanking goes, that could happen in the higher ups.
Yeah, and that's out of your hands, obviously.
Yeah, right.
Well, let's talk about some great players who are on not so great teams. Here in Las Vegas, Max Crosby, the guy's unblockable, great player. You know, you got a Derrick Henry in Tennessee, a Saquon Barkley with New York. You know, what's it like to be a great player on a team that feels like it's really not going anywhere?
Oh, I guess, to be honest, it really depends on the player. It depends on who they are, right? You know, like a Devontae Adams, who's not necessarily happy in Las Vegas, right? You know, is he disgruntled enough to speak out in the media? Is he more behind the scenes? Will he just reach out to his agent and say, hold on, get me out of here? You know, depending on what type of player he is. Justin Simmons is another one in Denver, great player. I've heard, you know, rumblings of him maybe getting traded to Philly. So it's like, okay, you know, what happens when you are a great player on a bad team? You know, what do you do about it? Do you just sit back and collect your check? Or do you say, I want to get out of here and win the championship?
But I guess that's what makes you a great player is you're not one of those, hey, I'm just going to collect my check kind of guys.
Yeah, now you're competitive.
Yeah. All right, Brandon Marshall, as always, thank